We're out here in the Windy City, ladies and gentlemen. The beautiful Windy City. It's actually a beautiful sunny day in the city of Chicago. And I will be hanging out with the mayor of this beautiful city, Brandon Jonhson, in a brief moment. I have an introduction prepared and I have some questions prepared ahead of time. Shout out to Eric Hovegem for helping me out with this. Brandon Jonhson, DSA, 57th mayor of Chicago since 2023. Brandon Johnson's a former organizer for Chicago Teachers Union, a social studies teacher. Unfortunately, Brandon Johnson's approval ratings have not been so high because he has gotten extreme opposition from Chicago capitalists. The capital owners in the city and also in the state of Illinois have been very aggressively coming after him since the beginning of his tenure. But Brandon Johnson's the 57th mayor of Chicago after a career as a social studies teacher, labor organizer, and Cook County commissioner. He's backed strongly by the Chicago Teachers Union, the Democratic Socialists of America, and progressive grassroots groups. He ran on a platform focused on investing in housing, education, and community-based public safety rather than austerity or heavy policing. Since taking office, he's had to govern within one of the most complex political environments in the country while taking on his ops in city council factions, which include the very similar ops that you probably know from the Zoran situation. The police unions, let's be real, even though they are protecting, they're protecting us today. They're wonderful cops. The real estate lobby, and also Rahm Emanuel, and dealing with tens and billions of inherited pension debt. His mayoralty has become a test of whether a popular progressive agenda can overcome the hurdles set forth by the capitalist class in one of America's largest cities.
I'm gonna wipe the lens real quick.
Okay. Oh, it's because of the scratch. There's a lens scratch.
Oh. Well, give me 2 seconds.
Okay.
This might not work, chat. We'll see.
That's crazy.
Sorry for the flashbang, chat. Did that work? Nope, you're right. It's a scratch. That might be inside of this.
What's going on? Are we? Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's good to see you, man. Thanks for coming to Chicago. Hey.
All right. You paid that guy, huh?
You know I was going to see a lot of that, right? Yeah.
All right. So, what are we doing? We're going to be hanging out in here.
I'm not in charge of this. I'm just
okay.
here on assignment.
We're gonna do a lap or just waiting one.
Hey, what's going on, man?
All right.
Good, brother. How are you? Good, man. Come on, man. Say hello, man. Feeling all right?
Yes, sir. I've been wanting to meet you face to face anyway.
That's a pleasure, brother.
Yeah.
You live in the neighborhood?
Yes, sir. Born and raised right here, Austin community. I'm a rapper, actor. I just got a movie out with 50 Cent and everything.
Straight up?
Yeah, slime. But man, congratulations, bro. Thank you for everything you do, man. For real. And you need to get more good publicity.
Yeah,
because they giving you like they too much on your ass.
You know
bro.
they giving me grief, but you know we strong.
Yes, sir.
644, we don't stay strong.
Yeah, 60644. Yeah.
Got it. All right, man.
Blessings,
hey,
brother.
man, Darius, give him your card, man. Yep.
Damn, that's my name.
Yeah, man. So, gosh, you picked a nice day. Brought a little bit of that West Coast sunshine, man, into the city.
Yeah, it was raining when we first came in, but it's been really nice. It is very windy though. I get why they call it the Windy City.
Yeah, more ways than one.
Yeah,
for sure.
So we're gonna walk around first. Is that what we want to do, or we can just wait here? It doesn't matter to me. But if you guys want to walk, we can do that as well.
Then we can start here. We could start here, and then we can make our way in a couple minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just talk here, and then we'll make our way.
Okay. All right. Perfect. So what part of town are we in right now?
So we're on the west side of Chicago. This is the Austin neighborhood. It's the neighborhood that I live in.
Mm-hmm. My
wife and I are raising our 3 children just a couple of blocks from here. We love it. It's a beautiful historic community. Once upon a time, it used to be the largest neighborhood in the entire city of Chicago, but unfortunately, because of past administration's ills, school closures, the loss of good public sector jobs, we are no longer the largest neighborhood, but this is still the largest concentration of working people, and particularly black folks, anywhere in the country. At the height of the neighborhood, we probably had, it was definitely 100,000 people just in this neighborhood. We're probably sitting around about 80,000 now. but still very vibrant and strong. And right now we're working our way back. But it's beautiful, man. I mean, the housing, the major corridors, man. We're down the historic Chicago Avenue. So yeah, this is my hood.
Yeah. You grew up here?
I didn't. I grew up just a little bit outside of the city, but once my wife and I decided to work our way, into the city, there was no doubt that we wanted to live right here on the west side. Yeah.
So he brought up the fact that they're on your ass, that you're, and this is something that I briefly alluded to in our last conversation, but it's something that I've been thinking quite a bit about as well. I do feel like there is somewhat of a, I wouldn't say like a media attack on you, but definitely like it's more critical than you would expect of a mayor of a large city. There are other mayors that have been in the spotlight in times of need, but they haven't received as much criticism as you have. Why do you think that is?
Well, I mean, I don't know if there's one specific reason. I know that the city of Chicago is the global capital of the world, and the interests of corporations have long had their foot on the neck of working people and poor people. My election broke outside of that structure. I know that there are corporate interests that want to dominate this city, and I believe that as I continue to put forth the vision that is transformative, of course it's going to be met with resistance. Yesterday we said our final farewell to Reverend Jackson. He was a true example of someone who understood his assignment in Chicago, right? It's why when Dr. King came to the North and they knew they needed a strategist and an organizer in the North, they put Reverend Jackson in charge, and it wasn't like this. The power structure embraced, all of his ideals, man. And so we're still faced with many of those corporate interests that do not see the value of working people. And as long as we're committed to ensuring that safe and affordable communities can become a reality, I think we should just anticipate the corporate order to respond in the way in which they have, man. But I try not to allow it to deter me. Clearly, as you heard the brother, people see it, right? And it has not stopped the support and the desire for us to build our communities in a way in which I think our folks expect.
Yeah. Actually, let's talk about the funeral proceedings that took place for Reverend Jackson. He's a very important figure for American politics, very important figure for someone like myself as well, someone who I've looked up to and helped me develop a better understanding of American politics in general. I believe, hey, it was good. I believe that at the funeral proceedings, there were 3 presidents that came out and spoke. Yeah. And it was very interesting seeing it from the outside, like the way that they utilized the pulpit in that moment. And I wanted to hear, well, aside from what you think of the performance of Kamala Harris saying, "I told you so," using that as an opportunity to say, "I told you so," which didn't land very well with at least the people that were watching from outside. And then I believe Joe Biden had some words as well. Do you feel like they were like real torchbearers for Jesse Jackson's legacy, especially considering that he himself had oftentimes been at odds with some of these people directly, including but not limited to even Obama at times as well? How did you feel about those speeches?
Well, I mean, I think to some extent you heard each president admit that they had, disagreement with Reverend Jackson. President Clinton said that explicitly, in his speech. I think we're all clear that the so-called 3 strikes and you're out, policy was incredibly harmful and detrimental to working people, and particularly black folks in particular. Yeah. And I think what they all at least shared was that they were a beneficiary, of his work, his legacy, right? I think that it's clear though that we have not realized the full manifestation of what the Rainbow Coalition was all about. That's why I was very intentional about lifting up the fact that healthcare for all was a part of the platform of Reverend Jackson in '84.
Yeah.
He was calling for a single-payer healthcare system where you did not have, a system of winners and losers, right?
Yeah.
His stance around public education. I talked about the fact that it was Dr. King who understood the connection between labor rights and civil rights. He prophesied of the incredible potential that it had. So I think that as much as they possibly could, they wanted to take credit. They at least wanted to acknowledge they benefited. But I think it's important that we push the fact that we have still not fully accomplished what that platform was all about back in the 80s.
Yeah, no, absolutely. All right, well, the Jam Boys are here, so.
What's going on?
What's up,
What's up,
man?
man?
How you doing, Mr. Baby?
What's up? Welcome to my hood. What's up, man?
How you doing, man?
Coming through. What's
good? What's good?
What's going on?
You going viral recently, man.
They said I was walking, then they said the Jam. I was like, let me make sure we get some shoes, because I know I would not be able to out bling y'all. I knew that. I was like, I got my wedding band, I got Citizens, that's it.
Now you're rocking the red on the shoe.
Yeah.
That's good.
But yeah, welcome to Chicago again. Hey, y'all been. I heard some of the conversation. It was very interesting.
Yeah. We actually was just talking about it in the car. We were talking about the Reverend Jesse Jackson, like funeral and everything, the things that Kamala said, things like that.
Yeah, it's massive. Everybody was in town. Like,
Oh man, wasn't that wild, man?
Yeah.
Gustavo Petro was here.
Yeah. Cut the tape. Yeah, it was good. So we had, I believe it was the president of the Congo. We had South Africa. We had Colombia. Of course, other dignitaries who were representative of these nations, man. But like Reverend Jackson, man, was just such a large, political, civil leader, but yet, man, hey, what's going on, man? But he was also, man, so connected to the ground, man, and it was really just beautiful to see, like, from a child care provider to a president of another nation. Just like to hear people celebrate his life and his story, man. It was very humbling.
I think it was dope to see how many people came out, showing the love and everything, like across the cities, like the sides of the city too, like South Side came out, West Side came out, every side came out. So I think it was just dope to see all the love and support people have for him.
I think if people forget how central of a hub Chicago is.
That's right.
I always think about it whenever I'll see like how many figures that I know of came from here, and whenever stuff like that'll happen, it's like people. The narrative on the internet is so much focused about like the things that you see on local news, regardless of who has the influence to focus on those things, but it's never necessarily about the broader impact. So I love like moments like this get to just kind of showcase what Chicago's all about.
That's right. That's right. I mean, you had, Isaiah Thomas, man, who, another proud West Sider. He got called out for being a Piston, but it's like, my thing is, man, with him playing in Detroit, same thing with Mark Aguirre, another West Sider, it's like we send our family to go play with our cousins up in Detroit to get them a win, man. But Isaiah Thomas, Chris Tucker, talked about his influence. And I mean, man, everybody else in between, man. You had, rabbis, you had, leaders from Palestine, you know what I'm saying? Who were a part of it. So it's a true testament of the global figure that he was.
No, Jesse Jackson was a lion. Like he did that. He did that shit. I think he played a role. He played a role in like numerous hostage release conversations. He understood that solidarity amongst the working class has an international component to it as well. And that always was another reason why I really appreciated his place.
How you doing,
sister? How you doing? No, I appreciate. I think one of the things that I saw about Jesse Jackson, all the clips started coming out, especially after his passing. And one of the most important things that I seen was kind of like, it kind of gave me inspiration for what like a future either left-wing political party or Democratic Party can look like. That focus on that unity among demographics, the interconnected struggle that all of them face. I feel like a lot of the times we get away from talking about the material things that can actually bring about those changes, at least on a national level. And I think it's a lot of stuff that we can learn from someone like him and a legacy like him, and even like taking that much further. Because like you said, we do still have a long way to go.
Like
I'm curious too, man. Especially because I got a birthday coming up.
Oh yeah.
And I'm tripping, man. So yeah, man. I mean, I guess, yeah, this is your invitation. Yeah, it's a good way to just throw it out there. But hey, what's up? I'm the oldest person in my administration. I'm turning 50.
Oh,
so we have with the exception of me, we have a relatively young administration. But I'm real curious, man. Like, how do like 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds see and view a Reverend Jackson?
I think, at least the way I
like a Jesus.
Yeah.
In a sense, because it's like, yeah, he's that guy.
I think I was gonna say, yeah, same thing, kind of like in terms of like when you get older. Like when I got older, I started learning certain things about it. But like younger, like that was like that guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like my granny was talking about him, my mama was talking about him, everybody was talking about him. So.
Oh, hey, how you doing? What's up? How you doing? Good. Thank you. How long you been doing business out here? No, you're welcome. How long? What do you? Oh, you got a whole big old.
Oh God, I'm about to get
I
some.
see here.
Oh my
Good.
God,
It's really nice to see you.
Oh my God, have a good one. Have a good one.
I'm sorry, you said.
Nah, but yeah, it was just, you know, like growing up, you hear about them, and you don't really know much other than like what the effect of like my granny was talking about him, my mom was talking about him, the church was talking about him all the time. So it's like, you know, you kind of view him as like a legend or like a prominent figure for coming from Chicago, you know?
Yeah.
You really like saw like, even with his death and the funeral, you saw the unity really happening after that. Like I'm really seeing like the internet blowing up over it.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. I don't know, I think...
It's always that one guy.
Always that one.
Yeah, it's like, Mama, we would have been on time.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, what do you think? Do you think when it comes to someone like Reverend Jesse Jackson, do you think it's and I want to hear from both of y'all, do you think it's a positive thing that the younger generation looks at him like that, or do you think we should kind of pick it apart a little bit more and go deeper?
No, I think it's good because he's like people credit. So people credit Bernie Sanders in 2016 for like the rise of you know, self-identifying socialism in the country, but I think like Jesse Jackson in the 80s was doing that, and it's something that Bernie Sanders also has always acknowledged as well. Jesse Jackson also endorsed Bernie too.
Yeah.
So like there have been, I would say that, you know, we've had periods in American politics where we had a much more radical approach.
Yes.
And much more militancy, labor militancy, different groups that were engaging in direct action in ways that were really impactful. But Jesse Jackson basically continued that legacy and continued carrying the torch of what the Black Panther Party was doing, the Rainbow Coalition. And I think he was an exceptionally important figure in American politics, and that's part of the reason why they engaged in a lot of whitewashing of his legacy. Because it's frustrating. You see that with MLK, and then the worst version of that is just like a lack of recognition at all for Malcolm X. But it's obvious to me that with Jesse Jackson, I feel like they're hitting the MLK whitewashing on his legacy as well, to just say like, oh, he's, you know, he wanted to unite everybody. It turns into just like with MLK, it turns into like, I had a dream. You know how like racist people love using that to be like, oh yeah, MLK wanted no anti-white racism. That's what his that's the only takeaway you should get from MLK's legacy. They kind of do that with Jesse Jackson a little bit too.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick it apart a little bit more. Maybe that's the social studies teacher in me.
I hear that.
You know, I do believe that there is a strong value for Reverend Jackson. I will say that, you know, a prophet is not always well received or received at all in their own home. I had a chance to hang out with Reverend outside of the city of Chicago, the response is different, and I think it's not that we did not appreciate Reverend Jackson. It's just that we may have taken him for granted at times.
Yeah.
Because he was just so ever present.
I think it was a sign of like kind of the fact of where we were in like American politics at the time and then where we are now. Like now we kind of can look in hindsight and be like, damn, we kind of took it for granted.
I think at times, I know that there were some real critical moments in recent city history that many people may not be aware of. He was still the convener. I remember when the Laquan McDonald video was uncovered, the organizing that was put together was done at Rainbow Push in his office. And at that time, the young folks were the millennials and had a much different vernacular than the Reverend Jackson era, right? So I was the Gen X who had to stand in the middle between millennials who, quite frankly, dropped more F-bombs than keep hope alive. But Reverend Jackson stood in that space, sent out a robocall on the Chicago Teachers Union's list.
Wow.
Like on Thanksgiving.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Like real controversial, right? And at a time in which the tension between community and policing had begun to escalate anyhow, right? So you saw labor, you saw faith, you saw other community organizations come together at Rainbow Push, and Reverend was a central figure in all of that. But I will say that there were some younger organizers who did not necessarily see the Jackson generation as a part of modern day resistance. And so they got an education because they saw his influence and his impact in that moment, but I will say as a whole though, I think that life after for Reverend Jackson will be kinder than the life that he lived. And that's just, unfortunately, the nature of the beast, we call America or capitalism.
I think it's super important to like point out, at least from my perspective, like growing up, hearing about Jesse, like I feel like it is one of those things where you do take for granted just because of how like present and how much I've seen him, especially like being here. But it's the constant work of making sure the legacy that is preserved is the ones that really take up those principles. Like when we talk about MLK and the whitewashing of that, it's like you never want to see a situation where, we talk about how much Chicago is like has remnants of segregation and stuff like that, and to see a political force and political movement that can start on the basis of unifying every demographic, like in this city in particular, that's very powerful. That like directly shows an antidote to like fascism, to apartheid policies, to stuff like that. And that's why I feel like it's so important to remember that now. Like the stuff that we pull from Jesse Jackson, because it feels like at least that wasn't the focus broadly, like on a national level. Now it seems like we're kind of getting back to that. Everyone's now aware of the moment we're in. And I think that makes it that much more impactful. And figures like that are people who we really do have to highlight, because it kind of gives us a pathway, I feel like.
I will say this, as far as like my audience is very white, right? I have an international audience as well. The international perspective is obviously like focused on his advocacy on that front. And there's a lot of respect for him there too, because like people love when an American will come out and be like, oh no, I understand what's going on here. Like this is messed up. We gotta. I mean, he hung out with Fidel Castro. Like those are very important moments in American history. But then, as far as white people goes, in my community, even like there was a lot of people who were like, I am so deeply ashamed that I learned about him in a very negative way in my household, because like the media coverage in mainstream, on the mainstream side of things, the media coverage on Jesse Jackson was not good at all. Like, it was very, they attacked him. They would often bracket him in the same way as Al Sharpton, from back when Al Sharpton was more radical, let's say. So it's been a wake-up call for a lot of people, I think, especially now when like broader subsects of society are starting to recognize that there is like an implicit bias in mainstream news.
Yes.
It's not always bad, right? But there are certain blind spots, let's say, racial blind spots certainly, but then also blind spots in general for any kind of advocacy that they consider to be anti-capitalist or radical.
Yeah.
And people are now, I think, becoming more aware of that and reconsidering their prior biases about certain things, about the way that they've learned about certain things.
Yeah. I want to ask Mayor Jonhson, like, do you think, in the same vein of that, what do you see as the position of, I guess, revolutionary / like radical politics, I guess, considered in America? Like, what's that role today? Because we've seen throughout history, like you said, the media frame, or how there will be crackdowns on people for simply believing like people should have freedom of expression, freedom to explore whatever ideology suits them. What do you see, like, are you looking to have more of an embrace of people who might be more out there, might be more, I guess, radical considered? Because I feel like those are people who've always been doing the work. You know, those are people who've always been in the ground throughout history, and there's a kind of push to try to keep those people out when we're talking power.
Yeah, it's a great question. So I think that they're, going back a little bit to what you said, or your analysis about the current political climate that we're in, that like this is a ripe moment for like a Reverend Jesse Jackson, right? And like this is the moment that like he lived and fought for, right? To have intergenerational movement of critical thinkers that are willing to challenge the status quo, right? And so I'm struck a little bit by just the timing of his death. Like, I'm not one to question God, and I'm like, yo, so what you up to for real, right? Because it really, you could sense and feel this resurgence of resistance, but you also can feel the life of like a Reconstruction era. And so I think, getting to your question, there's a level and a degree of I think impatience that is even less tolerable now than what we believe our ancestors were willing to tolerate, right? But what I'm seeing though is that the desire to push the ground and organize versus let me organize and get my name on the ballot at the same time. This is where I believe that there's a little bit of it's a little disjointed for me, right? Because as much as, and this is people don't always agree with me on this, as much as we recognize and understand the power of the position, our ancestors understood that, but they understood their power from their position, not from the position that they were trying to push. They believed that their power was capable of pushing the power structure to submit and bend to the will of the people. Versus now, there seems this other element where there's I believe, an over sensationalized glorification of politicians. And I'm one of them, right? And it makes me, like, frankly, a little concerned just from an organizing perspective that if the only motivation that this generation has to organize is to be an elected official, then I believe that we may not have our assignment complete. And so, again, I'm not saying that we should not run for office, right? Because I did that. I went up against powerful machines in this city. Just for the record, I've never lost an election. I just want people to know that. While y'all out here like trying to run game, brother hadn't lost, right? So, but with that being said, the reason why I believe that I was in a stronger position to prevail is because I had begun to lay the groundwork in this very community, right? Standing up to powerful structures that were closing down schools, that were laying off workers, right? I was a part of a hunger strike, taking arrests, right? I mean, put real skin in the game and had no real desire, quite frankly, to run for office. It was just one of those things I'll never forget, because Rev was a person who would come up to me, I think you'll appreciate this, when I was out there organizing, he would say, man, Brandon, man, if you would just get a haircut and get you a good suit, you might just be somebody. So I'm like, yeah, so I got a haircut, I got a suit. Right. Oh yeah, sure, of course.
Yeah.
So you're seeing a lot more, you know, as we walk down Chicago Avenue, man. You know, this is an avenue that, you know, some community organizers who are, you know, really attached to business see Chicago Avenue as like the should be the main, you know, corridor for the city of Chicago, is Chicago Avenue.
Yeah.
So they're gonna name it, well, they have named it Soul City.
Oh yeah,
So we got some housing development.
This is good.
We got more small businesses that are coming through, and then these pop-up shops like this.
Oh yeah, I love these like green areas. Oh, is that? I love like green spaces like this. We will talk about it so much, like even when it comes to a community aspect and like a safety thing. I feel like a lot of the things that are missing right now, we talked recently at the Chicago Teachers Union, and what we basically talked about is like, how do we break down these silos? Like it feels like a lot of the last like maybe decade and a half of kind of like austerity politics that privatize, close down like public spaces. We've kind of all been through that, and there's a lot of apathy now. But like I stress the importance of even little areas like this.
Yeah.
Like it's so nice to come outside and like feel like you have a place that you can just stand, chill, maybe play a little basketball. And people don't understand how long the way that goes.
Oh, it's a huge contributor to transformation. In the summertime, I mean, you're gonna see like areas like this all over the city, like literally popping. I mean, we put, you know, $1.25 billion bond investment for economic development and housing in Austin. Just, you know, again, between Chicago Avenue, there's development down Madison. You know, for the first time since the King riots, we've seen like real economic, you know, development. And just for the record, I know we're gonna take a picture, and I mean this with all sincerity. Reverend would have loved y'all. I'm telling you, man. He, like, if he had, you know, the strength when he was going through to be a part of the jam, man, he would have loved it. In fact, even though he did not have all of, you know, the functions that he had, you know, when I got a chance to learn from him, you know, he probably would have still come through, man. But I know we're proud of you as a city. I know as you all's, you know, platform becomes bigger than this guy's here.
We got the cloud.
We need all of Brother Piker's followers to follow the jam. Right? But no, he really would have had a great deal of respect and regard for y'all, man, because he believed in like young people being on the ground and like speaking truth to power. So.
Yeah, we appreciate you even bringing us out here. Like I feel like it's so important to like highlight sides like this because it destroys the perception of what like people think Chicago is.
Yeah.
Like people think it's dangerous.
Yeah.
When it's like, bro, this city is beautiful.
Yeah,
it got
is.
beautiful
There's
people,
dangers in every city, bro.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you act as though it's not dangerous in every single city.
Like I told my mom, I was like, I'm gonna come out here for the street. She's like, Alan, be careful. I'm like, Ma, it's the mayor.
You know, me and Hasan were talking about it last time you were out here about how like part of it is also the plot. You know, you don't want everyone to come moving to Chicago.
Right.
Keep the property value
I feel
low,
weird
keep
about
smeared.
showing how nice it is. I'm like, no, guys, it's bad. Don't come here.
Well, I mean, I think that's changing, man. And you know, look, we have to tell the truth as well. Like, I'm not gonna act like in 3 years, almost 3 years since I've been mayor, that, you know, we have turned everything around.
Yeah, you
but
can't
we
be
have turned the corner though,
Yeah,
right? And
it's
we're
progress that
moving.
needs to be highlighted.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so we'll do a quick group photo here, and then we're gonna walk towards Laramie. We have about 5 minutes left. Okay. So look at that, Hasan.
Behind the shoes.
All right, 1, 2, 3. All right, so let's walk towards Laramie. Cool.
All right.
So how long are you in this? We just say the city. That's how arrogant
we
we
say
are.
the city.
It's like there's only one.
I'm,
So how long are you in the city?
I'm here for just today. I was here delivering a speech at Northwestern University last night. And then I was so tired. I feel like I didn't do that good of a job, but you know, people seem to like it. But I'm leaving tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I hope you've enjoyed your stay and your time here. Just over on the other side here was you know, more affordable units that we built. You know, this well, you can always see more signs of the Soul City corridor popping up because we want to make sure that just like in any town, you'll have a Chinatown, a Greek town, a Boys town. You know, what's the Soul City corridor in Chicago? And I got to give a shout out to AAA B&A because they see Chicago Avenue as the premier avenue that highlights, you know, the beauty of our city.
Yeah. All right. Well, I have some questions for you, if you don't mind. Chicago's been historically been run through a close relationship with the city government and major corporate interests. But you came in with a philosophy centered on labor and community investment, as we talked about last time. How is the business community responding to recent developments by City Hall?
Yeah. Well,
I know something about that.
Well, I want to say that, you know, look, we are definitely the global capital of the world, and I believe that business interests and my interest is to make sure that we have safe and affordable communities. What I focus primarily on is, hey, good afternoon. What I focused on primarily is making sure that we are building safe communities, because that's good for business. And we have the brand new stadium, Chicago Fire, we're building. On the west side of Chicago, the 1901 project outside of the United Center. That's a multi-billion-dollar project. On the southeast side of Chicago, where the steel mills once existed. Speaking of labor, no development there in over 30 years. We have Psi Quantum coming out that way, plus a brand new hospital with Advocate Health, $100 million investment. So business recognizes that this is the premier location. The city of Chicago Metro, once again, the top destination for corporate relocation and expansion for 13 years in a row. Voted the best big city in America. So business interest recognizes, you know, that this is the place to do it. My simple philosophy is straightforward, that we are open for business, we're just not for sale, right? And so, you know, there are some individuals, of course, that still, you know, don't necessarily jive what's going on with my philosophy, but it's not gonna change my push, right? To ensure that we're building a safe, affordable city where everybody gets to participate and not just a handful.
So it's a delicate balance to strike, but Chicago's business elite obviously still has a domineering force on the city's economic power. How are you navigating the roadblocks put up by folks like Michael Sachs, Ken Griffin, Rahm Emanuel? How can we rally the labor unions to engage in more advocacy and even tenants to push back against the corporate focus?
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's going to require. It's going to require working people to make sure that our agenda gets across the finish line. Even with those forces that have animus towards working people, our values are incredibly popular. 80% of the city wanted us to put more of a responsibility on corporations to pay their fair share. But the corporate interests, of course, got into the heads of a couple of alders, you know, that stopped us from moving one particular aspect, you know, of our agenda. But the vast majority of that agenda was still able to materialize. You know, I'm pushing for a millionaire's tax. You know, we're organizing in Springfield to push that through. So it's not that our agenda doesn't have merit. Like, our agenda is very popular. It's going to require labor, the civil rights organizations, labor organizations, all of those organizations are going to come together to make sure that we're pushing our collective agenda.
All right. Okay. I have a little bit more of a tough question. Since we last talked, the Foundry Park development was approved by City Council.
Yep.
You mentioned you wanted to bring affordable housing to all of the neighborhoods, including Lincoln Park, where this is being developed. It sounds like it's going to bring 1,000 new homes, including a handful of designated affordable units, but the developer seems inclined to make a payment of $7 million to the city instead of building the 42 affordable units. How do these kinds of deals, where developers pay their way out of actually building the housing units, change the dynamic of actually building affordable housing, and how does that change the way you think about it?
Well, it's not going to change the way I think about it. You know, we're continue to push, you know, the developers to make sure that at least 30% of the units are affordable. We know that there are loopholes, of course, that you know, they try to draw on. We're repurposing downtown office spaces into affordable housing, right? So of the 1,100 new spaces that are being converted into housing, 30% of them will be affordable. So that drive is going to continue. We do know that there will be some that will try to push their way through that responsibility, but I'm on pace now to build 10,000 affordable units by the end of my first term, and we're going to keep pressing.
How do you feel like the affordable housing development reinvigorates the economy? If you had a message for like some that would say, oh, this is going to bring poorer people, like mixed income people into this neighborhood, change the dynamic of the neighborhood, because that's like one of the common common points of criticism against affordable housing development. How would you go about identifying those issues and explain to people that it's not an issue at all?
Well, I mean, I think the first thing is to highlight that many of the new development, these developers have committed to building, and to creating affordable units as a result of these investments. But also, I just want to lift up the fact that whether it's through our missing middle, where we have owner-occupied housing, right, where people are living on one level and renting the other levels, to make sure that we're building long-term sustainable generational wealth. The message is that it benefits all of us. To ensure that our economy remains diverse, you have to have working class people in here who are going to send their kids to the public schools, who are going to rely upon the public transportation system, who are going to shop at the local businesses. It works for everyone.
Yeah. So last month you signed an executive order calling on police to investigate federal agents accused of misconduct after ICE wreaked havoc on Chicago. How has the ICE situation evolved after the last few weeks, and has there been any accountability for the damage ICE has done so far?
Well, I mean, there certainly has to be accountability. That's why I signed the executive order in the first place.
Yeah.
Because as you know, we're living in unprecedented times, and we do not have a clear pathway, from the federal government to ensure that there's accountability. Right now, people have the ability to push for accountability. That's what the executive order was designed to do. I mean, look, here's the bottom line. We know that the Trump administration has been incredibly reckless. The damage and the havoc that they've caused in cities across America. The city of Chicago has led the way with our executive orders. In fact, I believe about 30 million people are currently living under our executive orders right now around the country. But the evidence that is collected in cases where brutality took place, we want to make sure that gets to the state's attorney so that the state's attorney can decide if they want to pursue as well as prosecute.
Last question.
All right, last question. This one will be about Zoran. It's a double question.
All right.
Last time we were together, we didn't really get to talk too much about Zoran. Have you been in contact, and is it feasible to share notes between Chicago and Memdanistan, given the differences in the cities and the respective political spheres?
Yeah, well, we had a text exchange a couple of weeks ago. Right now, we are in the process we're forming sort of a mayor's coalition, much like district and state's attorneys have formed to fight back against federal overreach. He expressed a desire and commitment to work with the city of Chicago, Boston. We have Seattle on board. We have Oakland, Mayor Lee, Mayor Bass, and Los Angeles as well. So, now that, the services for Reverend Jackson have passed, we're going to begin to have some more meetings around what type of ideas, to your point about sharing notes, that's working in Chicago or in other cities like New York, that we can share those ideas, and then we can actually move them simultaneously versus in silo.
Yeah. Okay, and then the last one was there's a concept like sister cities. I don't know how much the mayor gets to have a say in that process. Does Chicago have a sister city? Have you thought about like expanding Chicago's international reach as the global capital, and maybe highlight a community elsewhere, whether it be in the past something the governor of Minnesota, Jesse Ventura, did was opening up like trade routes with Cuba against the blockade. Has this come to your attention at all? Is this something you're interested in doing?
Well, we have a long history of sister cities. I'm definitely working to expand them, including sister cities on the continent of Africa. Look, we have to grow our collective response to one another. I was sharing a couple of days ago at Reverend Jackson's service as we commemorate the Bloody Sunday, right? And that bridge was a symbol of the cross, and it connected our collective suffering. Right now, I believe that bridge today can be described as borders, where borders essentially are people are determining whether or not someone's humanity and dignity should be realized based upon what side of the border they live on. And we want to break that down. And so as we lean on Reverend Jackson's example of crossing the bridge in spite of the hatred that was on the other side of it, we have to be able to cross these borders and challenge the hatred of all forms of hate. So we're looking at definitely expanding sister cities and making sure that the city of Chicago remains as a main footprint as the global capital of the world.
All right,
right on.
Thank you so much.
Thank you as well. Man, I appreciate you. Appreciate you understanding the uniform. Appreciate it. Up and down. We just got one more step to make. Next time in the city, we got you. You got shoe game. And again, man, I want to thank you, man, for making room for all these.
Of course, I love
these
these guys.
Thank you guys for having us as well. Like we continue to watch, and we're excited to see how this project gets built out when it's connecting us globally and kind of standing again. It's really weird. Like we find ourselves at this point in time where, as fashion is on the rise, like you don't have many people who are able to build coalition like this. So taking the platform, taking everything, making stuff like this happen is the most important thing. Yeah. So we're gonna keep that working. We're gonna keep watching.
All right, what's up? Chicago, baby.
Is there any way that you can stop the Chicago Bears from going to Hammond?
Oh yeah, that's a major question.
So this is what I love, man, about our movement. It's like we want to make sure there's health care for all and Bears games on the lakefront. And everything else in between. Listen, I have not given up on that yet, man. There's still no better place in the country, in the state of Illinois, for the Bears to play than the lakefront. In fact, that entire footprint, that's the #1 tourist destination anywhere in the state of Illinois, man. So I have not given up on that. We're gonna keep fighting, man, because you got to keep the Bears in Chicago.
If they know what's good for them, they'll stay right
That's
here.
right.
We got
Right
the
on,
infrastructure, everything.
Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you.
Yep, right on, man. Listen, man, one day, man, I'm gonna give me a leather jacket too.
Yes, sir. You said, when's your birthday?
March 27th. Yeah, make sure. Yeah, make sure they get it. All right.
Okay,
That's cool.
cool.
All right. Good seeing you, man. Yep. Safe travels.
Thank you.
All right,
Sir, hey, thanks for coming by the Chicago, man. Good seeing you, bro. My boy.
Good seeing you.
We gotta come out to Cali soon.
Yeah, I know.
Bro. Oh my God.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. We're seeing the traveling, so as soon as we get up, we gonna go out there.
And keep your head too, bro. We be seeing it. Like, they be on your head. I'm like, give him a break.
I'm like,
every week I see his name and something.
You know what it is though? It's because a lot of people feel the heat.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
starting to heat up, man.
Because like, I talk to people all the time. I talk to people out when I go to protests and whatnot, and they're all like, they're rudderless, but they're angry, you know, and they're looking for an alternative. Yeah. And I think many of them are coming to that conclusion on their own that like the politics that I represent, politics not dissimilar to Reverend Jesse Jackson, that is actually what has been lost in the discourse. But now that the contradictions are worsening and people are coming to like seek out alternatives on their own, like they find themselves listening to people like myself more and more. So those in positions of power, obviously on the Republican side, they're fucking haters, right? Like they're reactionary, they're awful, they're monsters, they're racist. But even on the Democratic Party side, I see so many people losing their grip of power and reacting with this frustration because they don't want to let go. They don't want to let go of their seat of power. They don't want to. They don't want to
let go of what they think is normal.
They don't want to. They don't want to lose it. They don't want to lean into it either. Like, because there's something you can do in that situation. You can just give the people what they fucking want.
But that requires.
Well,
Yeah. Sexy as hell. Appreciate you.
Hey, nice to meet you, man. Thank you. It's good, right?
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you.
All right.
Appreciate y'all, man.
Appreciate you so much, bro.
Hey, appreciate it.
Until next time.
Yes, sir.
Until next time. Appreciate it. Nice to meet you.
Appreciate y'all.
Thank you so much. Yeah, appreciate all of you. Nice to meet all of you.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much.
Have a good one, guys. Nice to meet you.
Let's do this one. Oh, you want to take a photo? Yeah, let's do it.
But yeah, no, I feel it though, because I feel
Think about how much it's changed.
Actually,
Yeah.
I was Bernie Sanders senior producer.
Hell yeah.
Jenny, big fan.
That's the selfless aspect.
All right, what's the move?
We're waiting for the Uber.
Okay.
Just give me 10 minutes. Yeah, I called it. What's up, man?
Yeah, I'm a fan. I've been watching you since you had that studio apartment. I wanted to give you that. You like Jujutsu Kaisen, right?
I do.
Yeah, I just won that today at an arcade, so.
Oh wow,
spent like
thank
$50.
you. You want the photo?
Yeah, sure.
You don't need to give this to me. You can keep it. It's just okay.
I don't like Jujutsu Kaisen.
Oh, you don't like Jujutsu Kaisen? All right.
What's his face in Jujutsu Kaisen? You don't like
Salmon. It's all right. It's good. It's just not for me. It's just not for me.
So what's your one? Like, what's your favorite one then?
He's got.
I can't say it. I'll be a degenerate. No, it's the Neon Genesis Evangelion, but I watched that when I was like in high school.
That's not degenerate. That's fine. Bro,
it depends though.
This one's he's such a dweeb though because he's got like an asthma inhaler. That's his like.
Oh yeah.
Because he has to fix his voice.
Throat medicine.
Yeah.
Keep up the good work. I really appreciate you. I've been watching you, I think 6 years.
Hell yeah. Nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you.
But yeah, that's
on the west side.
That's the reason why they're chirping. Wait, so this is this normally the area that people call South Side? Like outside of Chicago?
It's out west. Yeah, so South Side is more where we came from.
South
That's
Shore.
where- But he came from Austin and out here West Side. Even Josh Doss came out from West Side too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like, it's nice community over here. I really like rock with y'all come in and just getting to like chill because I mean it is Chicago. Chicago's always chill, but also like embodying that spirit of kind of pushing those politics forward. Like I see it, and it's weird because as I'm paying attention to like the elections here, you see just how many candidates, like they all Democrat. You see how many are bought out, how many are corrupt, how many X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
And it's like this is now it's a flashpoint. You know, the generations are here. We're kind of ready to have our say. So it's like it's either you get out the way or you join in and get the people what they want.
Yeah, bro. It's so fire because to have that conversation, you gotta come to places like this, like on the ground.
Yeah.
Really show people.
For real.
You can go ahead.
Yeah, you go ahead, man.
But nah, that's legit.
Okay, count.
Yeah. Yeah. He said he wanted to say something. That's why.
He did. Yeah, he wanted to say something to Jonhson. Yeah.
Yeah, I got my paperwork right here.
They did give you paperwork. I sent that.
No, I got my paperwork right here. I'm trying to get away.
Yeah. That's how much. Please, because I hear so much. Yeah, I hear so many news stories like all the times about how much like CPD got to shovel out for settlements when it comes to that harassment and assaulting people.
I don't want to point the camera at strangers chat. That's why I'm not.
Shit, they almost hit us with their car.
Yeah. Okay. We're about to get picked up.
Where you off to after this?
Just back to the hotel to keep covering the news.
Oh yeah. It's a lot of all the stuff.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
You'll still be live when you go back?
Yeah.
Damn, I'm about to like find a way to start live streaming, man. There's so much news,
There's so
especially
much
coming
shit.
out of
He
there.
does it already.
He be going every single night.
I gotta make a clip when I get back because we were talking about Iran and we were talking about the escalations. I was literally telling them yesterday how the U.S. is escalating like the fight in that regard, and then I refreshed the page like Instagram, and then that was when the bomb threat came through on the bomb threat, not for John, it was for the plane.
Oh, the Southwest.
The Southwest plane, and I was like, bro, it's like we're gonna see a lot more of that, bro, because Iran is, especially because Trump and them are trying to portray it as like they giving up, they surrendering. Bro, Iran is not going for none of that,
But
bro.
the thing is, this is what you should be on the lookout for. So like, what will probably happen is now the FBI is not collaborating, apparently, according to some sources, with the local law enforcement on like terror threats, like pushing for terror threats. Because I do feel like there is not a lot of appetite for this right now.
Yeah.
Because most people are like, well, the fuck are we going to war? We're
Yeah,
going to war for
yeah,
Israel.
exactly.
We're doing
All the
this
shit that's happening now.
Yeah, and it's like, and obviously the MAGA base is like 85% on board because they're fucking cattle. But
Cold, Same niggas that was like, no new wars.
yeah. They very quickly, right before Iran was bombed, they were polling them, and they were at like 30%.
Because they're like,
terrifying how
then-
fast they will
switch
shit.
on a dime.
One day after, immediately 55%. 2 days after, 65%. Right now, it's at 85% support in the Republican base.
That's ridiculous.
That's why
crazy how
bending
we're
over.
That's why, and the word is, anybody who's saying that we should be siphoning off Republican votes as an election strategy is an unserious human being.
Yeah.
85% support.
You can't get those guys. I mean, you can can get those guys by just being like, look, man,
Yeah, like
you know, all this stuff is crazy, but like, do you want healthcare or not? Like, that's it.
That's like
You know what I
only
mean? Because there is no like, oh, I'm gonna bring Liz Cheney onto the fucking main stage, and we're just gonna be like 35% less racist than they are.
Yeah,
like, no.
even with Gavin, I'm like, gang, if you hope to get that constituency, that's like, they gonna go for a Republican anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm
all
like,
you do is teach your guys, like your centrist base, your Democratic base, that like there's legitimacy in the argument that the opposition is making.
Yeah.
When
Literally.
there is none.
No, none.
We were at the teachers union. Shout out, bro. But we was at the teachers
my
union. And the
God.
dude was like, a heckler basically came. It was our first live show. Heckler came up and was like, y'all shouldn't mention neoliberalism because we supposed to be working together with everybody. See, y'all be using them terms and segregating people. And then we're like,
And then after the show, he went up to us and he was like, I don't even identify as black.
yeah, he was like, I don't even identify as black.
So,
I'm just.
I wasn't
like,
sure where
It was
bro's
so
political
funny.
affiliation
It
was.
was so funny because Josh was about to move on. And I was like, nah, we gotta say something about this. So I was like,
I don't identify
we
as black is crazy.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it doesn't matter. The person with the gun, the police officer
you
identifies.
think they gonna? I was
You
gonna
think
say,
they
you think they gonna be like, he not black?
He a human, but the broader point that he was bringing up, and it was priceless to me. The broader point he was bringing up, he was like, y'all, because he said like the Nazis are at the door. You trying to find common ground with people who are like Nazis, and he's like, and he goes, well, you know how the Nazis came about? It's because they was labeling. They was labeling, and they was. I was like, I said the word neoliberal. That's how the Nazis happened. Are you sure?
You know what the Nazis was doing? Like, that's why we have labels.
Fuck the concentration camps and shit. They was labeling, gang.
Who could forget Adolf Hitler when he wrote in My Struggle? He was like, they kept calling me a Nazi, so I became one.
That's how it happened.
Yeah, that's how it happened.
It's like, no, but what it does do is really how it came about is when you suppress the conversations you need to have about the real political like matters. That's how you let people come in and scapegoat brown people for it. That's how you get the Nazis. So I'm like, I hear what you're saying, but I'm not hearing what you're saying.
Yeah, because when you play,
it's
you play the middle, you get comfortable. It takes the blame away from the people that's actually causing damage.
You can't, when you play middle with the people who was no war 1 second ago, now they 85% war. That's just the right. That's not the crazy. That's just the right.
I'm not saying like don't talk to those guys.
Of course.
I think there's people that do a really good job of like communicating with those guys. But they don't give ground on like trans issues, for example. They don't give ground on like social policy at all. Because it's utterly immaterial in the grand scheme of things. You're never gonna win that argument anyway. If a guy has like made up their mind that they're gonna be racist, they're homophobic or transphobic, you're never gonna like win them over by being like, okay, we're gonna be more reasonable in our transphobia. More reasonable in our homophobia. Just distract them.
What did he say? What did Gavin say?
You talking about?
He was like, what? No, I'm trying to think of his exact words. What was
it? He said we need to be culturally normal.
He was like, we gotta stop the pronouns.
He criticized himself for being far out ahead on gay marriage.
Yeah,
what do you mean you're too early on gay marriage? That's a fundamental.
No, he was though. He was when he was mayor. He like put himself out there as like the mayor that defended gay marriage.
He was for universal health care.
Yeah, which is crazy because that gave him so much prestige.
Yes.
Like he leaned into that for years and years, and now he's like, now that I want to be president, you know, maybe we shouldn't let these fucking gays get married.
Like that's crazy.
I don't think it's. I genuinely, and we were just talking about. I don't understand the rationale behind understanding that only in the entire general election, it's like 130 million people, but on both sides, right, between Republican votes and Democratic votes, like 130 million people. Why? There's 400 million people in this country. Why the hell are we trying to like?
The plurality doesn't vote.
It doesn't make sense. Yeah, literally.
And sure, like the Electoral College plays a role in that too. But like the reason why most people that could go out and vote, that could potentially swing votes in favor of one party over the other, they just don't see like a significant policy disagreement that changes their life, or even if they see the marginal differences, they're like, this is not, like they're not gonna push for it. My life's gonna suck anyway. And when you see the uniparty principle on things like Israel, on things like endless war, endless militarism, no free healthcare, no money for education, only money for bombs. Like when people see that, no matter how stupid we consider the average person to be, they are kind of woke on that shit. They see it. They're like, okay, what am I supposed to do?
Y'all bullshit. It's theater.
Literally, it's theater.
I gotta go to work. I gotta go to work every morning. It doesn't matter. It doesn't, like, this is not gonna change my life. I'm not going out to vote. And people get real mad about that. They're like, "How dare you?"
Yeah.
You're engaging
Like how
in
people
like,
was mad at you.
yeah,
I'm not
like,
voting for Garrett.
you're doing voter apathy. I'm like, no, I'm trying to fucking light a fire under the asses of people because I understand where that voter apathy comes from. Like,
I'm gonna say, I'll tell you, that's the number one driver of voter apathy. Is that
they take a while to get out here for sure.
Yeah, traffic.
This is a minute.
Y'all got a minute, we got 12. Damn.
That's
that traffic.
I'm about to go right in this beverage.
I'm about to go to that food truck.
I'm that Baskin Robbins.
About to light this blunt.
Gotta go get some ice cream, boy. I haven't been in Baskin in a minute.
Hey, hope you enjoyed it though.
Yeah,
Chicago, you gotta come out here in Cheyenne, man.
Yeah,
Cheyenne. Come in the summer. It's so dope.
See the water.
Yeah, this is our first warm week in like a couple months. So when it get hot,
65.
when it get hot, it get crazy out
And
here.
they're gonna drop right back down to 42.
Cause I swear we had one hot day and then it started snowing. Shit don't make no sense.
Yeah,
Midwest.
It was dope though. We appreciate the invite as well from all of y'all.
Of course. Appreciate y'all coming through.
I love that the mayor fucks with you guys heavy.
Yeah.
Bro, it is so crazy.
It's
so
crazy.
So much love.
They was talking about
He doesn't fuck with me. He's like, oh, the Jam Boy's gonna be there?
He judged your shoes and shit.
I'm like, damn, on your ass. He a real Chicago nigga for sure. Like, for real, yeah.
That's funny as hell.
But nah, yeah.
But yeah, nah, it's really unique getting the opportunity to kind of like, you know, be a part of the conversation. Hope try to inspire some people. And the fact that him and Edmund rock with us, I'm like, all right, bro, that's a year right there. That's
And then they also rock with you enough to even have you here.
Have you here?
Yeah.